No money was sent, no decisions were made. Okay. Public comments on agenda items only. Kathy, do you have?
I thought you were making a comment.
I know.
Yeah, we all thought, like, okay. Maybe she is after she reads the agenda.
Okay. On Monday, May 22nd, 2017, I went to the Dutchess County Celebration of the Aging. Andrea and I both went. Jane Geisler was recognized as Senior Woman of the Year. It was exciting, it was really nice, and I'm very happy for her, and I want to congratulate her once again. Last Wednesday, our town audit started. Jessica's been here Monday through Thursday for 2 weeks now. Next week she won't be here 1 or 2 days, but she probably will be around for the next 3 or 4 months. She'll be going to each and every department and doing audits. If any of the town board members would like to meet with her, please let Andrea know and
Okay, I'll do that.
make an appointment
Okay.
with her. She would like to meet with each and every one of
Good.
you.
Good.
So maybe you can start calling Andrea
Yeah, she's meeting with Richie at 7:30 on Wednesday,
and then Jessica, she's meeting with Wednesday afternoon, but she'll be here Thursday and then, yeah. But just let Andrea know what your availability is and she'll try and make things, get with Jessica. Last Wednesday morning, the power went out in the whole town due to a safety part. Central Hudson was repairing. It was a recloser or something I called, and they told me they were repairing a recloser and the whole town was out. The generator came on within 5 seconds. It ran very quietly. It ran the whole building. We didn't even realize we were out of power. So it's working great. I'm glad that's done. It came to my attention that the lease agreement for 11 Timeware Park is up. By law, if another lease agreement is not signed, the lease reverts to month. The town attorney has drawn up an amendment stating as much, and it will be signed by the wards. I did contact them. I asked them to come up yesterday. They didn't have a chance to come up with it. They'll come and sign it, and they agreed to month to month. I received a letter from Mark Molinaro regarding the Community Development Block Grant. Timeware Park handicap access. While nothing has been finalized, it has been recommended that the town receive $82,412 for improvements to Timeware Forest Park area to increase accessibility. This is directly in line with our pledge to think differently. I would like to give a special thanks to Ann Saylor, the Community Development Administrator, who came to our park and helped us through the process. I will be sending her a thank you note. If anyone else on the board would like to sign it, please let me know.
Yeah, I would like
As
to.
John knows, you and I met with her the first time, and
Yes.
then she also came back. So, I mean, I really appreciate the help we got, and from the looks of it, we got $82,412 towards that project. I think that's it for.
Okay, I would just like to also mention that block grant, receiving the initial advice we're going to be getting it, the county did spend a lot of effort helping us. They even sent a team out here to kind of review the facility, made recommendations, which I think also helped us being able to get it. So it's going to be a nice improvement. It's going to help handicap accessibility for the entrance by the office area. I also want to thank Peter Krulowicz, a resident of the town for a very long time, who donated to the town a whole lot of books from his personal library. Our recreation staff picked them up today, and they'll be put to good use by the youth using the park and barn complex. So thanks to Peter for donating all those books.
Thank you, Peter.
So following our last town board meeting, I went away with some questions, and so as I had spoke to the highway supervisor and had commented that maybe we should call OGS. That was my recommendation. I just took it upon myself to contact the OGS myself. And the thing I have learned about being a town board member is I don't have to know everything, but I have to know who I contact, who knows what I'm dealing with. So I had reached out to OGS. It sort of got bumped out of their general up further into their contracts. So I wanted to be clear that there wasn't something I was missing, and that he found a different item that, although it's not commonly used, might have been there hidden. And she was very lovely. Her name was Maria McGilfrey, and she was like, nope, what you see is what you get. So she actually walked me through the packet that we were given by Mr. Wiseman, and so if you each take one, you'll have some of what I'm looking at. And the first is the email that I sent out. She did actually try and contact Mr. Wiseman, but he did not contact her back because she wanted to ask him direct questions. But the way that Peckham actually gave us this bid, I was led to believe, and I think possibly all of us were under the assumption, under terms where I've highlighted page 3 of your packet, it says pricing is based off of the New York State OGS award. That wording is somewhat clever. It is not on the OGS bid. This bid, in fact, cannot be accepted at all. The ways that a town can procure things would be through piggybacking off of federal, state, other towns. If piggybacking is allowed, we can go through OGS and use the quick quote form. In here it's 3 pages of what a quick quote form is. It's what OGS put together for towns so that it would be cost effective for towns. It's actually, unless we know of a piggybacking that could be used, it actually is quite, it was put together so that towns could afford to run their town. And it is in the best interest of the taxpayer to usually at least put in the quick quote form, because you can send it to as many contractors as you want. They generally suggest you send it to places that are closer so that the costs of transporting things are not a problem. But the way that Peckham put in this bid would actually have to be considered competitive bid, in which case this wasn't received competitively. This was just a bid given to Mr. Wiseman. So then at the end you will see that it's regional quotes. So you'll see on page 1 it pretty much gives all the people that we can use that are local and in the past and their current ton price. So it's sort of like the last maybe 4 or 5 pages of your packet. It starts with a yellow highlight, but it talks about the quick quote form at the top. It follows the quick quote form. So in fact we cannot sign the 284 as it is because it's in violation of our procurement policy. If this bid was received competitively, it wasn't done under the proper circumstances of receiving a competitive bid. And it's not under OGS bid. We were just led to believe that it was. So I have been given a mini education by the OGS lady on how to read a bid, so know what to look for to make sure that bid is there. I then was introduced to Jessica, who is lovely, and we met on several different things when I didn't have a meeting. But this was one of the things we met over. Jessica, as the comptroller's recommendation, sort of walked us through the process of what should happen. And so really as a town board, we should be looking that every voucher we sign, either it's a contract we're aware of and we know it's in the town board's office, or if this is a new contract we're entering into. For instance, if we were buying off an OGS bid, we should have been given a copy of that bid with the 284 so that we ourselves can verify that, because that's our due diligence, to verify. So I knew that I wasn't feeling right with it. I knew that things were off, and I was so glad that I contacted OGS, because just that wording of pricing is based off of was just really clever wording to allow somebody to purchase it. The reason this product was being put here is it's because it's a product that's not currently put down on roads. It's basically junk, and we wouldn't want it on Unionville roads. So the product that you're looking at on the last 5 pages, which starts with that highlighted yellow, some of them are actually lower prices, and it's a better product. So we would certainly want the better value at the best price for our customers. So unfortunately, Mr. Wiseman needs to go back to the drawing board to prepare his 284. If he wants to do competitive bid and he feels that's our best value, For our taxpayers, that would be fine, but he has to do it the way our procurement policy says to do a competitive bid. That's all.
Dave?
Okay, few things, especially after the last meeting. I'll go into today I went to a meeting on shared services with the county. They are talking about what they can do, a proposal that they will make to the state for different ways that towns can communicate with each other and work with each other. One of the big, I was sitting at a table with Kathy from Dover and Mrs. Zuloff.
From Beacon.
Dover, Beekman. The people from Pauling weren't there, where we can talk about shared services and what we can do and what we can work on. And they're trying to do this on a county level to go to the state. John, I think you were at the last meeting?
Yes, I was, a couple of weeks ago.
Right. And there are 2 more meetings. I'm more than happy to go to them if you can't. And, some of the things that we talked about, one was electronic content management, which especially, I think Kathy talked to you, Andrea, about electronic management.
Oh, Katie Palmer House?
Yes.
From Dover?
Working together
Yes,
and
I've already had a conversation,
with-
and I'm gonna go and visit her office and see, what she does and what she's done already.
right, and ways of bringing this cost down to the town, but making, a lot of everything was making everything more transparent to the public. They were also talking about a Novus agenda, which, again, they're hoping with several towns getting together, they can bring down the cost of software and training within the county for the different software. Again, reducing costs, making everything a little bit more transparent, especially, the Novus agenda program, amongst other things, comes with live streaming, or eventually live streaming. I believe Dover is looking into the live streaming now.
We do it now.
No, this is a different, entirely different program. And I looked at it while we were down at the Association of Towns meetings. They're also talking about possibly centralizing tax collection to the county.
Yeah,
You have,
I mean, they're already printing the tax bills, so.
they already print the tax bills for both the towns and the school districts.
Right,
We might lose a little bit in penalties, but at the same time, everything would be going into a central office.
yeah, it'd be less headache for us,
Exactly.
less cost
They'd
for
be
us.
doing the
Well, it
mailing.
kind of came at a good time when our tax collector retired,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
why
Right.
we did what we did.
And
with
many of
tax
the other
collector's
towns
position.
that were there all said the same thing. They are looking into this. Some of them are eliminating their tax collectors because it's, again, a part-time job. Most of this
Right.
is done electronically now anyway. Vehicle repair. We can do this now through the county. And
You
through
mean like highway
the
trucks?
Dutchess County Shared Services.
Highway trucks?
I don't know whether it's highway trucks or not, but this is again the thing that they're trying to centralize this so that, or at least the purchasing of parts. And they've suggested communities such as ourselves, possibly Dover, Beekman, who seem amicable to it, using almost like a purchasing agent for things that we know we're going to need
Yeah,
and buying them in bulk
Yep.
through the 3 towns or 4 towns, or even including Washington.
Sure.
So that there are 5 towns, we're buying it and we can buy it at a lower price, buying bulk. This would be things like salt,
yeah, Fuel?
fuel, setting up fuel, community fuel, storage areas
Yeah.
for ourselves. So, I mean, these are things, and for training for a lot of our software, possibly doing it through BOCES. Again, all the towns working on this. Now, another big thing with them was solar. And I know Beekman and Dover have asked me to sit down with them, and maybe we can work together and talk about things like the CCG and other solar programs that we can work, again, to take our energy controls under cost. Dover participates in benchmarking. And they have said that what they have learned from just doing the benchmarking has been amazing as far as waste in the town, not just in energy costs, but in other costs, and able to turn around and say, well, okay, we're already doing something down in the big barn where we're replacing insulation.
Yeah.
But they're able to identify these buildings where we're losing energy and therefore we're losing money. And by benchmarking, they can pick out these spots.
Well, I'm sure the biggest spot is going to be that water reservoir for the sprinkler system. That's wasting a lot of our energy every year.
Yeah, I mean, but these are things that we're going to be able to look at, and if we ever go with benchmarking, that we'll be able to look at and save. They also talked about, going back to one of my favorite subjects, multi-year planning and multi-year capital planning. And Steve, yeah, this is for you. I started this back in October, November, working on a multi-year plan. You asked me where mine was last month. I've been on the board for about 1.5 years. You've been on the board for better than 8 years. Where's yours?
I don't have one. I don't have one.
But you go to the same association of town meetings that I go to, and this has been a big thing that the state, the controller's office, is constantly.
It's something we ought to be
harping on.
working on as a board.
I agree it's something that we should be working on as a board. I completely agree, and when I was talking about it last month, and we were talking about this in benchmarking, it is a project that has to take place not only with the members of the town board, but the highway department, parks department,
And recycling.
and recycling.
Yeah.
What do we need coming down the future? You had brought up last month, or at the last meeting, because we had the problem down at the park with the insulation, that if we had plans, but we didn't have plans. There is nothing written down in this town. We have no plans for the future. They might be in somebody's head. One of the things, and I suggested when we, last month, that the members go through the multi-year planning webinar. It's not in the slides, but you're willing to take a look at these. One of the things that they said is the biggest reason is 3 years down the line, I might not be on the town board. None of us might be on the town board. If we don't have a plan, what's that town board come up with?
Well, that future town board isn't committed to following any plan that
They're
we
not,
put together.
a multi-year plan isn't set up that it's not gospel, but it gives you a guide, something that you can look forward to, or something that you can say, we have to look at this. Park telling us that we're gonna have to replace this roof this year, this roof next year. Highway department saying we're gonna have to replace this truck. Physical inventories, and there are grants out there to do physical inventories for our equipment, physical inventories for our natural resources. I'll talk to Dover about it because they got them.
Okay.
And they got them by going to the energy communities.
Okay. I got a quick question for you, Dave.
Yeah,
Do any of our constables need a vest?
no, we got the vests. They've been ordered.
Because there's still money in the grant if
Yeah.
needed.
We got the 2 vests that we needed.
Okay. You got them. All right.
So that's been done.
All right. Thanks.
And the only other thing that I believe the pepper spray has to be replaced. But there is money in the budget for that. That's
Yeah,
already been
okay.
budgeted.
All right.
And basically, that's all I have.
Steve?
Yeah, I wanted to go back to the rental unit. I saw the email and had a question on it, and then you mentioned it here earlier. If state law automatically reverts the lease to a monthly, or by-the-month lease, I don't understand the need for the attorney to draw up an agreement that says that. The state has already determined that.
Well,
Why
only
aren't we?
because I felt better doing it.
Well, I think we should put our efforts into negotiating a new annual lease rather than putting it on a month-by-month basis.
Yeah, I did speak to the wards. I don't think they want to go with an annual lease.
Well, I don't know, we're the landlords.
All right, so for now, it's not signed. It's month to month until,
Correct. I don't think that we need the attorney to put it into that if it's already reverted to that by law. That's just an additional attorney fee that we don't need.
So he's on retainer.
he's on retainer.
Yeah, it's part of
It's
what we pay him.
paid for already.
Anything else?
Yeah, if I can, one other thing.
Well,
that I-
no, Steve. are you
No, I'm
done?
done.
Okay, one other thing I did, and this is referring a little bit to what Karina was talking about. I stated last month that or at the last meeting, I am not an engineer. I don't claim to be an engineer, I don't claim that I know everything about roads and what have you. But I do know, again, from going to Association of Towns meetings, that there are programs out there. I found out that in April, over in Middletown, there was a program that would have cost $50 to send Richie to. And basically, it was called Local Roads Done Right. And much of what you were talking about with the 284 is covered in this. And there is also a class up in Ithaca for highway superintendents, and they do it every year. I think it's $350, a $350 fee, I'm not mistaken. And yes, we would have to cover for him to stay up there.
I think he's gone to
realize
that.
He
in the
has
past.
been
He
there.
has been to
Yes,
that?
yeah.
Okay. But I mean, these classes, and they do them constantly throughout the state, and I think it's well worthwhile to send our highway department to these classes, and we should encourage it.
Well, and the 284 is an interesting document because it's somewhat buyer beware. So we, as the town board, when we sign it, are the buyer. And so the fact that none of us actually knew that the paper we were handed was not on OGS bid, I can only speak for myself. By that wording of pricing is based on, I made the assumption, since I have a bid number and an award number, so I went to search for that, but I couldn't find it on there, which is why I reached out to OGS following last week's, time's meeting, because when I was spoken back to, I wasn't given facts of the document. I was given personal lashing. So in my experience, when people do that, it's because they don't actually have the information. The way the OGS has set up the quick quote, he would have to input every piece of information. He would have to know every ton he needs, everything he wants to do, if he's putting berms in, what his T&L course is. And I don't, quite frankly, need my husband to tell me this. When you're married to somebody long enough, you start hearing their lingo. And so he probably knows a thing or two about delivering babies, and I know a thing or two about laying a road. So all of that would then provide us with the documentation that everything is there for us to make an informed decision. The 284 is a serious contract, and nothing should be done in town, and no vouchers should even be signed, because the 284 is not in effect for 2017. So those expenses are not being covered right now. I'm done.
Any other town board?
Add one thing. Jessica Dixon had called today, asking if there could be some kind of cash for the programs, you know, that people pay down at the park. You know, my office has one, I think George and,
I know the highway has
yeah, the
one.
highway. has
Doesn't the
one.
park have petty cash? I thought they
I thought
always
they
did.
did.
I
I don't know, this is what she asked me today, so I just wanted to put it forth to you guys to kind of figure out a plan for it. Is there some sort of need for that?
There certainly is a need. I don't know why they don't have it.
Put that into
Because
discussion.
Elizabeth had taken the call, so.
It's never been.
Yeah.
I meant to mention it to you before, and I couldn't get your ear, but anyway, so just get in touch with her and, come up with a plan.
Okay, I'll see how much she actually need. I mean, she
Yeah.
might need it before Saturday.
Sure she'll need it before Saturday.
Well, I can use mine if that's
Okay.
allowed for Saturday.
I'll be there if she needs any cash.
All right, and then
18% interest.
she needs to
Yeah,
inform us before now,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
specify how much she feels is necessary down there, and then the town board will approve or disapprove. Okay? All right, I think that's, discussions, eliminating pesticide use. Okay, if you remember, Deb Jerry was here with a speech at the last meeting, or the meeting
Month ago.
before. Month ago, yeah.
Very worthwhile.
And it was very worthwhile, and I have been talking to Jake about it. I think he sent me this letter today. Dear Town Board, my apologies for not being there this evening. I pulled my back out earlier today and will be out for a while. While I could not be there tonight, I wanted to address the use of pesticides in the town. I have been doing extensive research into discontinuing pesticide use, and while I do believe it will be a good thing, I would like to have more time to continue learning more about alternative removal strategies. Overall, I am in support of the town discontinuing pesticide use. I believe it will be good for our ecology and will help to bring more pollinators back to our acres. However, I would like to do my due diligence prior to fully weighing in on this matter. If anyone has any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me at the park. I would like to hear from folks regarding this topic. So,
Yeah, I have one question that I don't know if he knows the answer, but are any of our pool chemicals considered pesticides? Because we have to use what we do use already to meet state health department requirements. So
good, Will.
there could be an exception with that aspect, but otherwise, I think it's a great idea.
I will email him that question. Or you can, John.
Yeah, I'll email and I'll copy
Okay,
everybody.
all right, good.
Yeah.
I hope his back isn't too seriously injured.
Yeah, I hope not either.
He's gonna be there Saturday.
Yeah, maybe not.
Well, Mary filled in for him today with the book deal.
Okay, anything else on the pesticides?
I think we should wait till we hear back from Jake
Yeah.
before we
Oh,
go any
yeah.
further.
Yeah. I actually appreciate his due diligence. I think he used that word in here. That I think it was a great thing even from hearing her, but we would want to do it well because we, of course, don't want to run the risk of having pests that people don't want to be in our parks. So I appreciate his due diligence to really want to look into it further.
Okay, updating the phone system. The town hall every day has problems with the phones disconnecting, with calls not being transferred properly. I think we do need a phone system where the town clerk's office can answer the phone and send a call down to the park or over to the highway without saying, oh, well, now you have to hang up and you have to dial this number to get the park, and you have to dial this number to get the highway or wherever. I do think there's a need for updating the phone system. Ryan did give us a packet. Are there 3 full quotes?
There
Yeah.
are 3 full apples to apples quotes, and there is 1 separate quote for another hosted solution.
Okay,
Well-
so I'm hoping that the town board members will look through this and over the course of the next 2 weeks maybe, so we can move forward on this.
I just want to ask a question. The other one I received via email after the meeting, the Crosspoint one, does that sound familiar?
Crosspoint is the current.
That's our-
Oh,
current
Crosspoint
one.
is what we are
Yes.
using.
Yeah.
That's why I'm confused.
That's the one we wanna get
Okay.
rid of.
Now, the thing to make note of here is that you're not just paying Crosspoint, you're also paying a second company to lease the physical equipment.
Right, that's what I'm seeing, that this is compared to that other separate one you gave us last time. The higher fee with the more, they do the phones, but then they do the service.
The third quote, elevated computing,
Yes, that
you're
one,
actually buying the phones outright.
okay.
And then it's, I think it was 35 per extension?
Listed $29.99,
There you go.
30,
So 29.
30.
So that's per phone per month.
Mm-hmm,
So that will save cost and will be a much better quality, but it's not saving, a hugely noticeable cost.
right.
The three similar ones that I sent you, I believe that was Digium, Sangoma, and Nextiva, the three companies.
I don't have that Sangoma.
Sangoma.
I don't have that
Sangoma,
one.
there.
Do I?
Should be green.
Oh, yes, I do. Sorry.
Those three, we have to buy the equipment ourselves separately. The price is gonna be, I found phones refurbished, they're, I think it was somewhere between 17 and 1,800 to get 20 phones.
Right, okay.
But the cost per month will be that 260 range that you see on the three quotes.
Right,
And then
Yeah.
that's all you're paying for.
230, 260. Mm-hmm.
Okay, if everyone would go over that in the next 2 weeks.
Sure.
And have any questions, just email Ryan.
Yep.
And
If you don't have my email, let me know, I'll get it to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, when you call me Patty from here, it says Pequag, it doesn't say Unionville.
and it doesn't say LaGrange, because we're really in LaGrange.
We're really in Unionville.
No, what do you mean?
Well, LaGrangeville is the
That's the post
address,
office.
it's the post office.
But
So it should
physically, we're in
either-
Unionville, it should
right.
say Unionville.
Yeah, I mean, and then sometimes we get caller ID, sometimes we don't. I mean, the phone, it's a mess, the phone system
I think
is a
the
mess.
cutting out is more,
They're
is even a
cutting
bigger
out,
factor.
they're,
Whatever one you go with, the feature sets are very similar. So one of the things that I would definitely like to set up here is going to be the iBar, which is the menu system, which I know people hate when it makes life easier. Instead of calling in and speaking to Andrew whether she's available or not, oh, I need a part. You're gonna get press 1 for part, press 2 for main office, press 0 for help.
and I gotta say, that's how it is at most other towns. I've
Right.
called
Yes,
LaGrange,
how it
I've
is.
called Beekman, I've called
Everywhere.
Dover, I've called Washington, and they're all like that.
And then you'll be able to very easily, add new recordings. Like if there's an announcement for Community Day coming up. If you want to hear about Community Day and things, whatever, hit this button and Andrew can do a recording of, this is what's happening, this is who's coming, these are the costs. And it'll be very easy to change out instead of, I think you have to contact them right now.
Yeah, they can tell us over the phone. Kathy Gordon is actually very helpful for programming, for quick fixes. She is, always accessible, and I don't know the things ahead of time, but she's very good at communicating them to me, and then I can do some of the things. But the recordings, she typically handles for that kind of.
So that would be something we could take in-house and be able to do as it's needed.
So let me just ask you then, so currently, we have a totally different number for the park.
Yep.
So that would go away, they would call this number to call
Right
the
now,
town
we
of
have
Unionvale,
two
1,
separate-
2, 3.
2 separate business lines, each one with their own internet connection. So we have Optimum at all 3 locations right now, and those are VPN together, but the phones themselves are on a different dedicated line,
Right,
which 5, 10 years ago, yes, sure, we needed that. But currently, with what we can do with quality of service configurations and the voice technology, you don't need it. So we can run that on the same line we're using for internet, which we upgraded last year for the time clock system and everything else. We now have a large enough pipe that we can do voice over the same line without impacting anything. Which allows us to say, all right, we're gonna have one centralized phone system, which is actually something I have that I'm just gonna donate and make life easier, if you go with that solution. Buy the phones, and then every phone, whether it's at the highway or if it's at the park, will talk back to the system here. And it's just very easy. I wanna transfer to, yes, at the park, I wanna transfer to, Whistling over at Highway. Instead of, please hang up and dial a different number. park phone, not the park phone, the highway phone is like a single line through Optimum. So it's not even like a real phone system, it's literally a POTS line comes out and goes into a handset.
Okay. Community Development Block Grant update.
Real quick, other quick feature note is that, like I was saying last meeting, you guys aren't always in the office and you're handing out your cell phone numbers right now, which can be annoying, one, but two, it's also a matter of, as the board changes, those numbers change. Someone may be used to calling a certain number and just keep dialing that. It's like, oh, I can't do anything anymore. With this setup, we can say, all right, supervisor extension goes to this cell phone number, and you dial the main number, you hit whatever number for supervisor, and it will transfer to supervisor's cell phone. So no matter where anyone is or what phone they have, they
Do you really want that?
No.
reach.
I don't think so.
Well, that you can turn off.
Yeah, turn that off.
Yeah.
You can't turn your cell phone off.
My cell phone hasn't worked in 3 days, so. All right, Community Development Block Grant update. I think that I basically
Well,
covered it.
yeah, as a board, we've got to decide how we want to handle this. Number one, how much do we want to use in-house labor, or how much do we want to bid out? I don't know if the highway guys have any time for any of it, or the park guys have any time for any of it. They will have to sign off or sign on in that regard, I think. But the plan has basically been laid out, and the county has approved it on that basis. And we would have to have bid documents prepared if we're going to bid it out for contractors. So normally the town engineer does that work and prepares the bid documents, which have to be done very specifically according to the grant requirements. So I would ask that if we decide to bid it out, we have our town engineer prepare the bid documents sooner than later and try to start moving forward on it. And as a town, we would have to pay some, there are things that go with this that we should be considering. Some kind of surface on the parking lot area that we're not dealing with under the grant. The non-handicapped areas, do we want to put some item 4? Do we want to do grading? Do we want to put drainage in? All that stuff we should consider prior to actually implementing the plan, and how much we want to spend of our own money to supplement the grant money.
Yeah.
So has anybody got any comments now, or you want to think about it and talk about it again soon?
The only thing I would question is, again, at this meeting today, they were talking, I guess the county will help us with RFPs?
Yeah.
Would that be more,
Yeah.
would that be something that we'd like to look at, or ask them how much it would run us to have an RFP run through them?
Yeah, that's always worth checking.
Yeah, it's always.
I mean, any free help we can get is always
Right.
a good thing, I
I
think.
mean, Ann Saylor helped us for free.
Yeah,
That was wonderful.
and they have more leverage and more insight than us, I think, in getting better results. So I
Yeah.
would say definitely.
Yeah.
You got somebody to talk to?
I think the number's in here somewhere.
Can we each get a sketch of what was submitted into
Yeah.
the
Okay,
grant,
yeah,
so that we can kind
Sure.
of brainstorm other,
Yeah.
because it kind of can go off of all the other conversations we were having relating to over there.
yeah, okay.
Is there anything
Sounds
else?
good.
Sounds good.
So hopefully we'll talk about it in 2 weeks.
Okay, resolutions. Resolution to allow benchmarking. I think we read this entire resolution at the last meeting.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did, and it's on file, so I don't
And
see
it's
a
on
need to read it
file.
again.
So I think it was tabled because we needed more time to review. So now we've had 2 weeks to review. So Dave, do you want to offer this resolution?
I'll offer the resolution. Like I said, I know Dover, because I was talking to them today, have already
First-
accepted this,
Will someone second it?
I'll second it.
John second.
has already started benchmarking, and they do it through it was their town clerk that I was talking to. They do it right through the town clerk's office, which is what I suggested.
Proposed.
I know we were talking about earlier, Ryan pays the bills, but before Ryan gets the bills, Andrea receives them.
Right.
And so the bench, that stuff could be then scanned.
Yep.
And, like I said, I'm more than willing at this point to enter it into the benchmarking process. There is information I'll have to get, probably from the building department as to the size of the buildings and what have you. But, I'll offer the resolution.
And John already
And John
seconded.
seconded it last
Town
time.
board
I missed it.
discussion. Roll call vote, Andrea?
Councilman Welch?
Aye.
Councilman Kelly?
Yes.
Supervisor Thompson?
Aye.
Councilman McMorris?
Yes?
Aye.
Okay. Resolution adopting unified solar. John, I think this is short enough, you could read it.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Resolution number 17-51, adopting unified solar permit. Whereas New York State has developed a unified solar photovoltaic permitting process designed to streamline municipal permitting, which will reduce costs for solar projects and support the growth of clean energy jobs across the state. And whereas the town of Unionville is desirous of participating in the unified permitting process, thereby increasing the village's eligibility for various incentives and grants through the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority. Now therefore be resolved that the town of Unionville adopts the New York State Unified Solar Permit as attached hereto as Exhibit 1, and be it further resolved that the town board authorizes the supervisor to complete the grant application through the streamlining permitting program to allow for the town to receive a grant award of up to $2,500 from the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority for the adoption of the Unified Solar Permit application. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately, and a copy of this resolution with Exhibit 1 shall be provided to the building department.
I'll second.
Town board discussion?
I see one thing in here that, in the second paragraph, it says, thereby increasing the village's eligibility.
Yeah,
I would like to change that to
Yeah, I thought we had changed that last month.
No, we had changed a
I read it-
different
I read it to
word.
that
Oh, yeah,
effect.
you're right, we did.
We did.
Last time.
You prepped the wrong one for us, Andrew.
Well, at least we're all awake.
Okay.
Just checking.
Roll call vote?
Councilman Welch?
Aye.
Well, we have a quick discussion. You did say, Dave, that our code enforcement
Yes,
officer says this is adequate.
Yes. It is only for small systems. It's not for, large commercial systems. You want to put a system on your house, you would just fill out this, and it has all the information that they have. It doesn't change our fee schedules or anything.
Right.
I just want to make sure George was in the loop. I heard you right.
Any other further? Roll call vote?
Okay, Councilman Welch?
Aye.
Councilman Kelly?
Yes.
Supervisor Thompson?
Aye.
Councilman McMorris?
Aye.
Councilman Frazier?
Aye.
I gotta believe this past month wasn't good for solar energy results.
Yeah, I don't think so. got it,
So,
Karina?
on to the maintenance worker,
Yes.
correct? Okay. Don't have the number, because it just
Yeah,
has a dash.
1752.
52. Sorry. Resolution 1752, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Unionville hereby authorizes the hiring of Adam Pratt to the position of temporary maintenance worker in the town of Unionville for the summer of 2017 season, and be it further resolved that the rate of pay shall be $13 per hour for a period not to exceed 40 hours per pay period.
Second.
Town board discussion? Roll call vote?
I found somebody, especially now that he's out.
Aye.
Councilwoman Kelly?
Yes.
Supervisor Thompson?
Aye.
Councilman McMorris?
Aye.
Councilman Frazier?
Aye.
Okay. I just have one more thing I wanted to bring up. George brought to my attention yesterday. There is a man, Steve's Wholesale and Clothing LLC, who would like to rent or lease the town property on 55. He brought this proposal in, and I told George before it goes to the planning board that I thought that the town board should see this. So, I mean, I'll make copies for everybody. It's nothing we're gonna vote on or anything, but I wanted everyone to be
Okay, it's
aware
gonna be
of.
tense, huh? Oh, gosh. Oh, it's a tool guy. Yeah, the guy from Beacon.
I guess so.
He's not there any.
He used to
might
be
have
where they
used
do
to be
all
there, I
that
don't
wood stuff.
Yeah.
He's at the flea market
So, I
every
mean,
time.
I think it's really up to the town.
Who's
board
gonna
whether
do
he-
the, I mean, it would require that the place be mowed. Is he gonna take care of that?
Mowed, there's nothing but
There's
gravel
nothing but
there.
gravel
I
and
know
dirt.
there's a lot of weeds and
Yeah,
stuff
in the
sticking
back
up.
there's,
Yeah,
I
it
think that,
depends on what he's gonna utilize, and
Yeah.
if people park in the weeds, we're looking at brush fires.
well, yeah, I think that would be a requirement that he would have to maintain
Yeah.
the property
That's something, you know, and then,
besides the lease
Right.
agreement.
right.
But I mean,
Just
All right.
a, just a
The
thought
property
that
is
needs to
sitting
get worked
idle
out.
Oh, yeah, say it's money in our hand.
Yeah.
we would stipulate in the lease that if the property were to be sold, then the lease would be terminated immediately.
Sure. It's a seasonal business.
Yeah. But it's just something I wanted to bring
I
to
don't
the
need
town
copies, I've
board's
seen it.
discussion.
So you
And
gotta kick out the hot
Yeah,
dog
I've seen
guy?
it on
Yeah.
I think there's enough room for the hot dog guy.
It's gonna help the hot
Can't
dog.
get rid of my hot dog guy.
It's gonna get a lot more
He's
business.
got- That's what I, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's good for the town until, like I said, we sell the property. And I did email everybody the other information from Michael
Yeah.
Teller Day.
Yes.
So, I think, should I tell George to go forward with the
Well,
planning
I think we
process?
should, the attorney's in the loop on this,
Yeah,
or
no,
ask
no,
the
let's
attorney to
give
make
it
this
2
work?
weeks till the next meeting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he should move forward until, but I'll get in touch with the
think
attorney,
Tom
I'll
should
send
see it.
him this,
Yeah.
I'll
Yep.
explain the situation, but I wanna know that the town board is
Yeah.
on board with this.
I'm on board with it.
Well, let's move forward with pursuing through the attorney, you
Right.
know, what this would look like,
Let's
what our
find out
lease
if
would
there's
look
any
like.
let's find out if there's any liabilities, especially since people will be pulling in and out of
Of
Route
course, there's
55.
liabilities.
Always liable.
We own the property.
Liability
Yeah,
everywhere.
that's what I mean.
You can't step away from that. If you own property and you rent
Right,
it, they always sue the deepest
That's
pockets.
why you have insurance.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, let's just,
I mean, what's the risk factor? I don't think it's
Certainly
very much.
worth looking at.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right, so I will proceed,
good.
I
Pursue.
Yeah, I
will
think,
pursue this then,
I think that's in the public's best interest.
okay. Public comments on non-agenda items.
Why is it,
Is that on?
why is it so in the front?
Yeah, you can pull it over.
Oh, I could just stand here. My name is Kathleen Dandino. I'm a resident of Galley Lane, 16 Galley Lane. My husband isn't able to be, he's out of town, so this is John Migliaccio. He's a
Hi.
friend and also lives in the town of Unionville. What's the name of your road? Brookside? Brookside. So he just came to kind of give me a little... So before I have a severe water issue in my yard. I've had it for many years, but it's getting worse and worse. You can't even walk in my backyard. There's almost no soil. But before I complain or before I say anything, I want to know that we have an easement. I brought the survey, no thanks to the town or the George Kolb, because I was not able to get building permits for my property. They said that they went back to the archives, they could not find them. And I'm guessing my house, I've been in my house 20 years, and I think it was built brand new. It took them a year or two to build it, and they lived there a year. So I'm guessing my house is maybe 23, 24 years old. They said they went back to the archives, they couldn't find my building permits or any of the building permits on Galley Lane. Because I was chatting with a land engineer, I'm sorry, because the water was so bad, and I was getting very desperate. And they said to me, we'll get a building permit, we can look at the building permit. So I called them back, and I emailed all this to George and Mr. Wiseman. And then I said, well, they don't have building permits. He said, we'll get a survey. Maybe you have an easement, maybe you have a driveway, what do you have? I said, I don't know what we have. So I emailed George and Richie, and they said, we can't find your survey either. So I went and got a copy of my survey, which shows at the end of my property, facing, now, I don't know if you've ever been on Galley Lane, it's a dead end.
Yeah.
There's, I think, 11
I
houses.
live around the corner.
Oh, you do, okay. So we're the third house on the right. We're
Right.
the only house on the right that has woods behind our property. And then the Buffons live behind us.
Right.
And up above them are the Vitanos. So we have severe, we also have the fence, if that helps. We have the fence on our property. Now, I don't know how to read this, so I'm not gonna pretend I do. That's why before I complain or show pictures, I'm gonna hope that one of you guys know how, because I don't. But it shows an easement. So this is Galley Lane, what we're pulling in, Galley Lane. This is our property, and this is where it shows a 5-foot easement for utilities and drainage facilities. So behind us, lot 7 here would be the Buffons. This is the, I can never say his name right,
San Amasima.
yes, I can never say that right. Thank
Very
you.
good.
And this is the Aloyas, and they don't show that they would be the Cherryellos down here on the end, which run with Waterbury.
Yeah, the
and
corner.
Yellow Lane. Yes,
Now, is this a town-owned easement?
that's what I need to know. How would I know if that easement is owned by the town, between the two
Because
properties?
there is a drainage issue there, water, spring, underground spring, who knows? But if the town has an easement there and they have a right-of-way, I don't know if it's 20-foot right-of-way,
Says utilities, I'm guessing it's utilities.
And drainage.
Yeah, I would doubt if it's the town, if
I-
it says
I don't-
utilities.
Since we don't have drainage in the town, other than, you know,
All right,
Just
so
on the
who-
roads.
ditches along the
So
road.
if it says utilities, who owns that easement?
Could be
An
the
easement
utility
is not
company.
an ownership, it's just the
The
right
right
to,
to trespass.
yeah, the right to
Right,
gain
but-
access to
but
the
it's a
property.
Utility, but, I mean, Central Hudson own it, the
It
town
could-
doesn't
it
own
could-
it?
No, the property owner owns it.
You own
But
it.
there's, the utilities have a right to come in there and service their equipment. That's what
Correct,
the
so
easement
if
is.
they have a right to come in there, then they have a right-of-way, so they have.
No, they don't own the property. The property
So
owner
then they
owns
should
the
have to-
property, they retain the right to gain access
Well,
to
like
their
you just said,
utilities.
If utilities could come in, well, if the homeowner owns it, what gives the utilities the right to
This
come in?
easement,
So then who owns it, who maintains it?
the homeowner owns it, the utilities have the right to come in on the property, on the homeowner's
business.
property,
And I
to
think
service
they
their
have-
equipment.
Right,
Whoever,
we see, you know, if you
Whoever's
have.
That's what an
there has-
easement is.
I know,
has to
I work
maintain
in
it.
the town of Newcastle, I mean, if you have an easement, like if we have a water main
Mm-hmm.
going up, it's on other people's property, but we have to maintain it.
Yes.
You have
Like
to
we an
maintain your
easement, we have a
waterway.
Water main going in, we have a 20-foot
And if your
right-of-way.
waterway causes damage to their property, then that's on you.
Correct.
But I don't, if that's just power and phone communications going through there,
Now,
that's
how
not
can
gonna cause a water issue.
how can we find out if there's utilities?
Yeah, it has a page number and everything in here.
Well,
If there's
Right.
utilities,
Um,
then-
If I were you, I would I would go first, check, that's what I was looking at.
Yeah,
The book number and the page number, and see just what that says
At
the
the county.
easement is.
now where can we find
If-
information?
That should be in the county.
county record building.
Now, if
County
there is
records.
underground
Market
buried
Street.
utilities, and it's causing a water issue, then that's up to them to maintain it.
Right.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
because otherwise, you know, her property's getting compromised.
yeah, well, I just want to show you the pictures then. So I have to go to the county of
Yeah.
Dutchess?
Yeah, it would go to Dutchess County.
Okay.
That would be
Market
where it explains the easement, if there's something in there.
And the
or
county will
whatever.
also say if the utility owns that or the
or
town.
the town.
No, she
Well,
owns
not
it, it's on her
she
map.
owns it.
Correct,
But if the
correct.
what he's saying is if it's a
Who's
utility
responsible?
easement or a highway easement.
Right, if they
They
have the
would
right
know.
to go in there
They would know.
and
They
put
would know.
buried
So
cables
these
or
are from-
whatever, then they should maintain that.
Yeah.
So
Those
it
pictures
doesn't
are from
compromise
March.
the
Right.
property. Because
Yes.
if the water's gonna eventually go in the basement, it's gonna,
It's damaging my
Well, where's
property.
the water coming from?
This is
It's
a
coming right
what?
down here.
This is a well? What am I looking at?
No, that's a fire pit that's full of water. That's happened
Oh,
in
a
March.
fire pit, gotcha, gotcha. That
Here's
makes
the
more
water
sense.
coming down here and damaging going.
It's
I have
coming from a
pictures.
neighbor's?
It's coming, well, here, right here, we have woods,
that
so it's
easement.
coming down right here now. How do you say his name again, Frank Senna?
So it's not coming, it's
He has
not,
a dry well.
all right, so it's not coming on that easement piece, it's coming on the
This
line?
easement is supposed to stop the water, it stopped it for years. However, if there's something
No,
happening
an
here.
an easement's got nothing to do with blocking water. An easement
Okay.
is just a right of someone other entity to go on the property.
Okay, so,
so somebody has to maintain it then.
No.
The owner.
I mean,
No, the property owner the property owner owns the property. The land is owned by the property owner. All that the easement does is give the utility the right to come in there and service their equipment. If they have to do that, then they have to return the property to the original condition. But that's not gonna,
but why would it say and drainage facilities?
I don't know.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. It says
well,
and
the town
drainage,
has
so
no right building
So,
department.
well, you gotta find
Nothing.
the original
No.
subdivision maps.
No.
they couldn't even give me anything
No
from the
public
town. They
works.
couldn't
Well,
even
that's
give me
down
my-
at the county. It's all on
Everything?
file at the county.
Yeah,
Okay,
check with
even
the
my building
county.
permit?
Yes, it
Yes.
should be.
So why wouldn't George or Richie have told me that, when I've been asking since
We don't know.
March?
And when you bought the property, your title search company would have had to have all that information. Otherwise, you would have not gotten a mortgage.
I'm
Well, that's why I
surprised.
want to know where my building permit is that shows all these pipes here, because this is what happened last night after the storm. There's a little perk. That's the third time that's happened in my yard. Here's the water coming over my driveway. It's ridiculous. And it's getting worse and worse, and my house insurance won't pay for it.
Yeah.
Now, what is this? This is Frank's, well, I should have took a picture of Frank. Frank has a dry well, so this is what we're
So
asking.
in other words, that's your neighbor's lawn?
This is my neighbor's lawn here. This is my backyard.
Okay.
This is his property swamp. Is either his dry well is not working, he's got a dry well and he's got a wall up, or it's
Yeah.
blocked, we're thinking, and all that stuff that his dry
Or
well,
it's not adequate to handle the flow?
how do we even know that if it's, code? You know, I'm not gonna go over and knock on his door and start any trouble, but how do we
Right.
know? For years, there hasn't been a problem. All of a sudden, it's getting worse and worse. We saw this a few months ago.
Has
my-
anything changed on the property adjacent to yours? Anybody
No,
add
but we
anything,
would know.
build anything?
How
See,
would
if
we
I
know?
own my own property.
know.
I own my
I don't
own
know.
property, I'm not gonna give myself an easement. It's my property.
Well,
Right.
the easement is there when you buy the property.
It was
Yeah,
already-
you don't
So
have a
somebody
choice.
That's what I'm
has to
saying.
own it
When
and
you bought
maintain
it,
No.
it should have
The
been in the
you're not
documents for the
understanding
title
this. I think
search.
you probably ought to talk to an attorney and have him explain to you what an easement is.
I know what an easement is.
Well, you're not addressing it correctly.
Well, they will have to go to the county. 'cause
Get the records from the county, that'll
But
give
what
you
I
a
don't
lot more
understand is why
insight.
they didn't tell me that when I went and got all this, Richie or George. Somebody at this town should be able to assist me and say, let me educate you on what you need to do, this is what you need to get. Or, Richie has been to my house 2 times. The pipe in the front, and I never took a picture of it, caved in, that goes to the road.
Yeah.
My husband fixed it because Richie never came to fix it. Now, my husband isn't here, he's out of town. My husband's willing to say, well, maybe he's coming, I'm not willing to do it anymore because it's causing damage and I can't enjoy my yard. I just want to enjoy my yard, period.
Yeah.
I have a dry, this, well, I'll show you these. This one is where the guy that mows my lawn got stuck and
Oh,
had to
really?
get somebody else to pull him out. So now he doesn't want to mow our lawn anymore. It's insane. It's just, I've never seen anything like it. And we can't even put topsoil because if we do something and it affects our neighbor to the right,
You'll
they're
get
gonna
blamed.
sue us and
Yeah.
say, you brought all this dirt in and guess what? Now your water's coming to my property. But this is where it's just, I know I sound desperate, but I am.
Oh,
Because
I'm sympathetic with
this is
you.
8 inches of water in my fire pit.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
8 inches that my husband sucked out with a tube. I could even have the lawnmower guy, he offered to write a letter, I'm like, I don't want a letter. But the second time Richie came, my husband, the water was gushing down, and my husband called him and said, Richie, come along. Richie got on the phone and asked George Cole. He said, find out about this dry well over here. Maybe it's blocked, let's see who did it, let's see who put it in, let's see if that's blocking or causing the water. We've never heard from him. So 2 weeks ago, when the rain came and we took these pictures, my husband on a Saturday called and said, Rich, he's known Rich for years. Rich, I know it's a Saturday, but can you just come see? If you could see what I'm telling you. No, I can't come. I can't come, it's a Saturday. He never came Sunday, he never came Monday, and I'm desperate. Nobody here's helping me. Somebody's got to be able to assist me. I don't want to go over to Frank's and say, well, I don't want to
If
do
this
that.
is in your backyard,
It's in our backyard. But
I
it's
don't
coming
think
down
it's the
from
town's
road.
concern.
But it's coming down from our neighbors. It's not my concern. Why should I have to put a dry well on my property or French drain? Because the 2 houses behind me are causing, I've been there 23 years.
All right,
Are
It's never been an
these
issue.
new
Yeah.
houses?
No.
you've got to get copies
house
of
across
the
the street
subdivision
doesn't know us.
Yeah.
maps to find out
Yeah.
what was designed and see if that's still in place.
Why would it not still be in place?
I don't know.
Okay.
Somebody could have changed something. If you're suddenly getting water you didn't always,
Right.
then something has changed.
So we'll have to
Right.
go to the county and get it and see exactly who
Exactly
owns it.
what
So then they
What
Keep
the
going back to
easement
who
is.
owns that.
It's not
She
who
owns
owns
it.
it. She
Okay.
owns it.
She owns it.
Okay.
Who
So what I'm
is
getting at
responsible
is
for
if we
the
have to get an attorney, so no utility can come in here and put
No,
anything
that's
in
already
there.
been decided before she bought the property.
Right.
Yeah, and I understand. My only concern is because it says drainage. So does that mean that easement is there to drain to water?
There could be
That would-
drainage.
I'm not-
That
could be
could be
underground
something that
drainage
the
put in
county
there.
should be able
Yes.
to.
Right.
So that's what I'm
You
saying.
need a more
Look at the
detailed map.
If they
subdivision.
were to dig a
You
trench
need more
line,
detailed map, and you
All
can
right.
gravel down,
Yes.
perforated
So
pipe,
nobody
Yeah.
here
and-
is
and
even
flange.
ahead.
Right,
I
and that could have
went
gone, that could have
through this
gone
where I live on
beyond its
Waterbury
lifespan.
Hill.
Maybe it's got
They had a
soil in there,
well
so it's not
coming from
functioning,
Walsh Road
so the water's
going
coming
down
elsewhere.
towards
Right.
Daly Lane.
Right.
They had a
You
swell.
gotta find out.
Who can check
Now, when
the
I built
drywall.
my house, I had to make sure I left the swelling.
Like, how do we know that that drywall, like if it's
Well,
not.
eventually
Well,
they
number one, he probably
blacktopped
should
over the
see if
swell.
George,
Right, yeah.
requires a
Yeah,
permit.
you
So
need-
now the county had to come out,
Because
they had to put in drainage
I
so
don't know if
that
it's required
it
or
could
not.
go
It
around.
may have been
So I
put
mean,
in
if
and
that
grandfathered,
drainage was put
whatever.
in,
No, and I'm sure it is, but we need to know, how
Specifically
do we get
for
somebody to check it to
drainage.
see if it's blocked and that water's coming out our property?
But it's like a double-edged
The town
sword.
should
If she
just
was
come
to
out
say,
and
let me do it
The
myself,
The town.
where's she gonna
so
divert
neighbors-
the water?
so
Now, if she diverts it
we
to the
can't
town
assist.
road,
it
she's
could-
gonna
it
be in
could have been
violation.
something
Two
that they
properties.
said, well, that
I
swell
don't
has
want
to be put
mediating.
in,
I
that
want
easement
somebody to
has to be
say,
put in
that
by
driveway
the
of that
developer.
property
Yeah.
has a permit, it is there.
But the
and it's-
chances
You
of
can
getting
ask
that
the-
developer out there to
George should be
fix
able
it
to
is
tell
probably
you
next to
if
zero.
it's
So the town has no records of the
All right,
subdivision,
see if the county has any.
of that road?
All
The
right,
only,
I mean-
no,
Get as
that
much
would
information
be-
from
What was that
county.
If
development
you
put in,
launch a
that road?
complaint,
Huh?
What year?
you file a
Well,
complaint,
yeah,
you
yeah.
go to the building inspector.
That road,
office.
what was that,
He
like
has no
60s,
choice.
70s?
Every month.
No,
He
no,
goes
the
out on
only,
Because somebody has to have,
Not all of them.
I think it was the eighties.
It's a
Actually, I think it was the
problem.
eighties.
But all of them he has to attend
so I mean, we
to.
keep
you
records
have
of
to
all
actually
subdivisions that are put
I
in,
hate to put
utilities,
complaints
yada,
about that,
yada.
we get along really
Yeah.
good.
All right, so we'll have to
But
go to
I
the
don't
county
feel
then.
like I have
Yeah,
the right
yeah, everything's
to go
filed
up
with
in
the
store
county
and say, hey,
after-
your drywall
after
is-
the fact.
I'm surprised
We
the
don't
town
have-
doesn't
If
have
they
records
don't really
though.
well, wouldn't it be the
I
better
mean, I don't know,
going
I don't know
saying,
whether that was
"I am
part of the
putting new
Linville
water on my
Associates or
property,"
not.
And I just don't understand, I'm just looking at everything.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any problem with your drywall? Have you noticed anything? To be
No, he's got no
honest,
water in his yard, because he's higher than us, so what, you know what he's gonna say is, oh, I fixed, he's always out there tinkering with it. But I'll be honest with you, we've had issues with the people on the right, I don't wanna do that. I don't feel like it's my job. If the town ordered, hired, or gave them a permit, that's their job to tell me that that is legal.
Right.
They looked at it and it's with code.
So that's
And
another
if
that
you
would
water
be
on your
George
property,
Paul.
it has nothing
How
to
do we know if they're in
with that driveway.
violation of putting a dry well in and diverting water?
Oh, that's
well,
good.
Is it
I
code-
George is the
told
only one
her
who can determine
she
that.
the
has to
code
file a
enforcement officer?
complaint.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
George, I'll ask
And
George.
he can research, you know, it
You know, if
could
they
be
did something
possible
illegal
it was
without
put in
permits.
Before it was a permit, who knows?
But the fact that that easement says drainage tells me there must have been some improvement done there before the houses
I
were
agree,
built.
that's my thought.
And that is probably not functioning properly.
And you know what scares me, is we're the only ones that have woods. If we didn't have woods, I'd be flooded.
All right, so you have a
I
contact
really-
with the
my wood
county,
sucks
we
up a
could,
little bit of it.
you know, phone
Just go
number?
down to the county
yeah,
clerk's
yeah.
office and
Yeah.
you want up to.
Well, yeah,
records
you
room.
could Google anything, but I didn't know if you have
Yeah, you wanna
anybody
know what vehicle
specific,
is?
we could
Yeah.
contact a
Upstairs.
name.
Well, that's why I
floor
got
up.
this, I'll go up there and ask for more information, okay?
Yeah, you gotta look it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because when I asked the land person, they told me to call the town. They said, call your town and ask them
Well,
for your permit.
unfortunately, you weren't
ask them for your
successful,
survey.
so
I know.
you'll have to go
Right.
back to the county.
Okay.
And you know what, George was not, when your house was put in and built,
I
he
know.
was not the
It was Tony
building
Leo.
inspector.
Yes,
So
it was Mr.
I know.
Leo.
we have
So-
had many,
That
many,
would make it-
many
We're finding
years
stuff.
of concerns and
80s,
issues,
or
and people that were given permits
90s.
that shouldn't have been
Gailey, I can remember when
under
Gailey
him.
Lane went in.
So,
In Galley Lane, the whole road floods. It's always been a mess. Down by Cherry Hollows on the end. Yeah, I'm not
Obviously, the
kidding.
drainage isn't done properly.
It's absolute, but we can't get anybody to help us, and I don't know, I mean, I'm not, looking. I don't have enough money if I'm hiring somebody for the water and putting a pool in my yard.
That's all she's here for, help. We
That's what I
we
feel.
want
That's what I'm
guidance,
saying.
we
I'm
want
not gonna
legality.
I would've done a complaint for him.
Yeah,
I would've said, I'm
no,
not even talking to you
no.
guys, I'm doing a complaint, I'm not doing that. I
Right.
just want somebody to say, this is what we can do to assist you. Hire a lawyer, it's silly.
Yeah.
right,
gonna
well,
do
I
that.
think
It's expensive.
going,
Yes.
since we don't
So-
have the proper documentation, which I agree, it should be here, it's not, we can't create it.
Okay,
To
I'll
go to
do
the
that.
county,
It's a thing
to
where
find
if
out
you
the
find out
answer.
who who put in the subdivision, that's the big thing.
And the county
They're
would know that too?
probably the ones that had the
well, everything has to
easement,
be on file.
because that easement probably goes all the way down to Waterbury Hill
That's what
Road.
I'm guessing, yep.
Now, if it's
To drain
been,
that water.
if
it's
somebody has
clogged,
filled
then-
in, if somebody has filled in part of it, well, then that's, you know, again, it's the homeowner's
Right.
responsibility, it's
Yeah.
not, but they can't cause the water to go onto your property is basically what it,
Purposely,
purposely.
Right.
yes, and I'm not even
Yeah.
saying it's purposely, I'm
And
just
also
saying it's
check
right.
your closing documents when you bought the house.
Okay.
See what it says in there.
I mean, I
But-
will say, you kind of said your other neighbor could be his dry well, but he's higher than you. I would look lower than you. Your problem is probably a backing up of water, that your water that used to drain is no longer draining.
Right.
The problem, logically, is probably downstream of you. You need to look at lower properties. Did anything
Well-
change? Did anyone put anything in?
But first of all, when we asked Richie Wisman that, he said that because none of the neighbors get along, we'd have to get a lawyer, and they'd have to put an easement in from our property all the way down to Waterbury, to the Cherry Ellows. And I'm
Well,
like,
if
what does
there
my
is-
property have to do with the other two people? I don't care about that.
But-
I only care about my property. They're
I
not here
can't-
complaining.
I can't picture an easement going through
From
one
one
piece of property
I
in the
know.
middle of a road.
But obviously, they don't have an issue if they're not here complaining about their water issue, and they're lower than me. I'm the only one complaining. So I mean, unless my other neighbors
We'll have to go to the
complain
county, get some documents, surveys.
Yeah, see what it's.
Deeds.
and I'll come back.
And I'm
We're
not
doing a complaint.
convinced it's
come back.
necessarily a highway problem.
So if it's
for
an easement,
Richie-
doesn't the highway, if it is.
No, we
No,
don't, we
and
know
e-
we don't own anything behind you. We
Whoever-
don't have any highway easements
No.
on property. Our easements are like from the center of the road to, I don't know, 15 feet to either side. Our easements are where you see the guys digging the trenches along the road.
Well, then
That's where
why
our easements on property are. They're the front, they're right next to the road.
Then why did Richie tell my husband that we should, that the three of us neighbors should get a lawyer and they would do the easement?
We can't tell you what he was
That's what I'm
saying.
An easement can go on someone's
Yes.
property.
Well,
You
it
have
is
easement
in
on
the
your
property, right
Yeah,
near
it
the
It
road.
starts,
But we
usually
don't own-
starts at the road
If-
and goes in.
Yes, but we
Okay.
don't
It's on my
own that
survey, right?
easement behind
There's
the
open
house.
space in the back road.
But there, who knows, maybe my neighbor has one that goes somewhere else. I don't know, this is only
You're
mine.
late.
I came to do the pledge, I'm here now, let's go.
All right, so I don't wanna
Thank you.
make this
But,
go any later,
yes,
but.
I would check with the county,
All right.
see who put in that easement.
And see what's
and
in
who-
that easement.
Right,
Yeah.
and see
Where
who's
it's coming from.
I'm just surprised, that I know we're a small town, I work in
Right.
Westchester, so I'm surprised they don't have a map of the subdivision for that area.
We don't have files here. Everything, once it's all been approved and said and done, it gets filed with the county. The county has all the files for smaller towns.
I work in a small town too, Westchester, but we keep everything,
There aren't small towns in Westchester.
okay.
Newcastle's
All right, thank
smaller
you, I'll be
than
back.
some.
Small towns with houses.
Keep me
Smaller than
posted.
What's the budget down there?
Let's adjourn, come on, we gotta adjourn.
Let's adjourn. John,
Okay.
where are you?
It's like every
make a
time we
motion.
try, we gotta adjourn.
Steve made a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.